Welcome to the Shootin The Que podcast, presented by Heath, Riles BBQ, with tips, tricks, and an inside look with some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back, everybody, on today's episode of Shootin The Que. Of course, today I'm joined with my lovely wife, Candace. How are you today?
I'm good.
And coming off a good, y'all are in town for South Haven, Bourbon and Blues BBQ team, JP and Colleen Parran. How are y'all doing today?
Doing great.
Doing great. How was the trip in?
Smooth as always. We just, travel around, do barbecue, man.
So for people that don't know y'all, tell everybody who you are and kind of where y'all from and how you got started in the barbecue.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a short version of it. I'm JP Parran. Go by my initials. My real name's Julius Parran, and I'm from Southern Maryland, Prince Frederick, Maryland, to be exact. And Colleen and I are out of Wilmington, North Carolina right now, but you asked where I was from, so I like to rep where I'm from, and that's Southern Maryland. And we got into barbecue because we went on a date at a barbecue competition. I took her into Annapolis where they were having this Naptown barbecue competition, and I thought I would go there and we would get some barbecue to eat, and that wasn't the case. And a guy there, John Bush was his name. He's a legendary rep on the East Coast, but at that time I didn't even know what a rep was. And he had a name tag on, and I asked him, I said, "Sir, how do I get to eat this barbecue? They keep telling me that I can't eat it." And he said, "You have to take this card." He gave me a KCBS card with his rep information on it. At the bottom had a website address on it. You go there and you can sign up for these classes. So I know he thought I'd never do it. But that next weekend, we were in Rochester, New York, and we were living in D.C. at the time. We were in Rochester, New York that next weekend getting certified, and this was 2010.
Wow. So it was very quick that you decided to kind of go get a fix for it. So after you become a certified judge, how did it barrel roll from there?
Well, we just kept eating free barbecue and going around the country doing that. And we even dabbled into MBN. We got certified to do MBN as well, and never really had thoughts of getting into the competition world until probably 2022. For Christmas, for 2021, she purchased me a class, Johnny Triggs class. So we went down to, I think it was Hammond, Louisiana, and went to Johnny's class. Shout out to Johnny, really nice guy. He put on a heck of a class. I understood timelines after his class. I understood trimming of meats and the basics, and it kind of got us off into it. And probably about 3 months after that class, it was February was the class, and sometime the last week of April, first week of May, we decided to give it a shot. So we went to Ripley, West Virginia for our first ever comp. And
so how did you finish?
We finished.
Hey, if you got all 4 meats turned in the first time you ever done a contest, I consider that a success.
We actually got a call. We got a Collen chicken, 10th place, and that was it. So the whole ride home from West Virginia down to North Carolina, we sat there, we're like, what do we have to change? What do we have to do? We have to try this again. And we were signing up for the next competition before we even got home.
So that one $10 bowling trophy or a certificate?
No,
what was it? Not even that,
call.
just a call.
It was a call.
I like to make a running joke. If you ever win a $10 bowling trophy, cooking competition barbecue, it's over. That one trophy is going to cost you at least $40,000 the next year. I like to jokingly tell that. $10 to $40,000.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
It's exciting though.
Wow.
So you do barbecue full time now.
Yes,
So
yes.
before barbecue, what did you do?
Good questions. I'll let Colleen take this one first. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a project manager, so I was working in the healthcare field and working on social media and website development. I really enjoyed my job, but barbecue sort of snuck in there, and little by little, we were doing more and more barbecue. We were incorporating those social media skills into our barbecue, and I don't know, it just
Worked out,
right?
That's how it worked out.
We're just
So you were in healthcare as well?
No, I was in sales. So I had been a general manager for a housing organization. We built homes, and prior to that, I spent 15 years in in the automobile industry, where I was also in sales management and that kind of thing. But I've been in sales since I got out of the military. I spent 8.5 years in the Army, and after I got out of the Army, I got into sales and just kind of took off. Never looked back. And same thing with barbecue, man. Like, you get something like sales or barbecue in your blood, and it's all over it.
I mean, that's me. You sound like me. I'm describing me to a T. I've always been in sales and in barbecue, and I sell barbecue stuff now. I mean, that's,
I was not in sales. I'm not a good salesman.
no, you were in nursing.
Yeah, I'm a nurse.
There we go.
Healthcare, sales.
Healthcare and sales.
That's right.
So, what was your next best category at that contest? You said you got a chicken call. I'm gonna circle back to that.
Oh, probably pork. Pork was our next best thing.
Brisket the worst at the first one.
At the time, we weren't cooking brisket because we were backyard. So at the time, we weren't cooking brisket. We were cooking backyard, which typically on the East Coast means 3 meats. And when you go to Florida, 4 meats. You do cook the brisket in Florida, but yeah, it's the pork.
So what year did y'all convert from backyard over to pro? Because y'all have made that jump now, right?
Correct. Yes. We spent 1 year and a couple of months in backyard, and then last year we were very successful and became like team of the year. So we flipped to Masters or the Pro Series this year.
Cool.
And we're getting calls.
So I want to ask what you started cooking on, and are you still cooking on that? Because I like to see that.
Great questions.
Well, I like to see that transition, because I feel like what you start on, you end up graduating to other things.
Okay.
That's my thought.
And are you
Great
done?
question.
And I'm gonna add to that before you answer. Are you still thinking about now getting something else or adding something else in the mix?
No, but we did change. So I'll answer your question first, and then I'll
Yeah.
elaborate a little more on yours, Heath. So we started out with WSMs, the Weber Smoky Mountains. I had a couple of those, and they earned their keep. I mean, it won me all the things that I did last year and prior. And they started to let me down a little just because of the wear and tear, packing them in and out of the trailer. They get warped and such, and air was it was just time to graduate on. I couldn't get that consistent cook that I was getting out of them initially. So anyone out there who's thinking that Weber Smoky Mountains won't win you grand championships, that's not the truth. If you can keep them in the original state and condition, then you can win with them. That's the way that they were for the most time until we started packing them up and really hitting the road, and they got warped and everything. So, but I've graduated up to answer your question, 3-4 weeks ago. Matt with Cotton Gin, I got a hold of him, and he took care of me and squared me away with some new Cotton Gin smokers. So I'm cooking on 3 Cotton Gins. And Matt, if you're listening, I'm probably going to come for a 4th because I really enjoy them. So
yeah, the drum smokers are really nice. They are. I like the hot and fast technique, is what I tell people.
And that's how I'm cooking, hot and fast.
Yep. I mean, it's a lot better to get a little bit of sleep at night
Got that right.
versus being up all night. Wow. So how did y'all get the name Bourbon and Blues Barbecue? How did you come up with that?
We basically, 2015, Colleen had went back to school to work on her master's, and one of her school projects was coming up with like a company or something, and we jokingly said, "Oh yeah, we'll do bourbon, our faux team name, Bourbon and Blues Barbecue," because we drank a lot of bourbon, listened to a lot of different music, but live, our favorite music to watch live is blues. And then we enjoyed barbecue because we were CBJs at the time, and it just all made sense for us to take the 3 things that you enjoy and combine it into, at the time, a faux barbecue team name for her school project, and that's how we got there.
Well, you said the magic word, bourbon, and said you enjoyed bourbon. So what's your favorite bourbon?
Our daily drinker is, Colleen?
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark.
That's
Love
our
it.
daily drinker.
So just straight up, or fashion, or
Definitely old-fashioned fans, but I think On the Rocks would be my preferred. Or Diet Coke. Makers and Diet.
Makers and Diet is probably the go-to most of the time when we're like at a bar or something. It's kind of hard to mess it up. or on the rocks. Kind of hard to mess it up. But we enjoy a lot of different bourbons. Woodford is a great one. The Double Oak, I just got to try a couple weekends ago. That's a great, I thought Woodford was great. Like Double Oak's
really good.
really
good. So do you have a huge collection?
No, we used to, but we ran through it. we used to have a ton of bourbon, but we kind of, whittled it down to pretty much a little bit of nothing now. But we do have our select stuff that we became makers, ambassadors, and, we were able to get bottles from our own barrel. So we had 36 of those that we've been working our way through.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. That's real cool.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get you one. It has our name.
That sounds good. I mean, I love a lot of bourbon too, and the reason I ask, I think I'm up to about 140 something bottles, But I've got friends up in the thousands. Wow. I mean, ridiculous stuff. I mean, yeah,
just Pappy and his Pappy, right?
Yeah, I've got some Pappy.
Right
Pappy. I've got a couple sets of Weller.
There you go.
I mean,
I
love
Weller.
A lot of different things like that. And if you see over there's a bunch of bourbon sitting on that counter over there. So yeah, we have a little bit here, but I have a lot in home in boxes. But we're building a full on filming kitchen, and I'm having a bourbon bar put in, things like that.
Right on. You gotta have me back.
So I will. Well, I jokingly tell people I've been buying up bourbon to build this bourbon bar because you want it to look good. I don't want to go in 5 or 6 bottles. So right. I do drink some, but I'm like, you have some daily stuff that I get in, and I kind of rotate through 4 or 5 bottles, and the rest of it I've been buying and putting up because when I have this bourbon bar, when friends come over, we're pretty much going, whatever, okay, pick it, let's open it. Let's try it. Let's try it together and talk about it. So that's kind of my plan with my stuff.
Sounds awesome, man.
Might have to hang on to one of the Pappies, one of the older ones I have to drink at a special occasion, but that'd be about the only one.
None of those have ever been opened yet.
No, not yet.
You're waiting on that Memphis in May rib.
So there's always one in the trailer at Memphis in May,
okay.
actually.
Right
a bottle
on.
of Pappy usually. And
I probably won't remember what it tastes like.
It hasn't been opened. It's always been said if we win grand, then we'll open it. And we got first place, but we didn't win grand, so we didn't open it.
That'd be a good time to open it. Right on.
So have y'all cooked any other sanctioning bodies besides KCBS?
Yes. We cooked CBA and absolutely fell in love with it. Champion Barbecue Alliance. Fred and those guys, man, they're down there in Texas just doing it up. We went down there and did 2 of them in December. Absolutely loved it. We're going to sign up for the one in Rhode Island here in a few months. We're going to go up there and do that one in July, I believe it is, man.
Yeah, I think first weekend in July.
I hadn't cooked one yet, but I hear it's real interesting.
It's unbelievable. I've never had more fun at a barbecue competition.
So what makes it so different?
Starting with the atmosphere, you can't deny that they have a great atmosphere with the teams and all. There's it's kind of like you got to see it to believe it kind of deal. And once you attend one, you'll totally get it. But their system for scoring, you feel secure. They scan in your box when they give you your boxes. They have a QR code on them. They scan the QR code, and they give you, when you sign in, a piece of paper that has a QR code with your team name on it. And I'm going to call the one on the box a learning QR code. So when you turn in your box, you're the only one that's in possession of that box, and you're the only one that's in possession of that piece of paper that they gave you with your QR code on it. They scan your team QR code, then the learning QR code, and it goes into the system. Then the judges have a cell phone with the app on it or what have you. They scan your box. They score your box. There's no way to mess up anything.
Huh,
it's just so smooth and so.
I didn't know that.
I did not have a clue how that worked. I didn't either. So there's actually an app, and there's nothing to write down. A judge has to use their phone.
Paper's obsolete,
and they only see the learning QR code, so they don't. So they don't know
who it is or anything. But that's how I describe what it was. And then the best part at the end was they do not call your name. They only play your song. and
that's
everyone
cool.
knows who's coming up.
It's like a fun
according to
thing.
their song, and that's exactly what the whole event is. The whole event is fun from beginning to end. And no one goes home on Saturdays. Everyone stays.
I
and
have
parties.
heard that's
Everyone.
kind of a tradition. You know, Shannon Lacey has talked about that kind of everybody hangs around, everybody orders pizzas and things like that.
And just hang out together and party and talk about their cook and lie about how good their ribs were, all that good stuff. Just,
I try
but
to
it's
tell the truth
amazing.
about
dude.
them.
It's amazing. And we just got to meet some great folk, and they just like welcomed us right on in, man. Like I knew Bill before getting down there, Purvis. I knew him before getting down there, and he introduced me to, a bunch of folks, and they were just like, man, Smoking Gooder, Rob, those guys were amazing. Just the whole crew, LC, all of those guys down there were just great people.
We had LC and his wife on when we went to Royal Oak, and they're really good people too. And we had Bill and his wife on when we were over there. But I'm yawning over here. You can tell I'm still tired from my plane ride. When we went to Houston, the barbecue scene is just so much different in Texas versus what we're used to seeing here. And there's a big barbecue scene here in the Memphis area.
Definitely.
I mean, I like to tell people, if you can't find a contest to cook around here, you can go every weekend within 2 to 3 hours, if not here, and cook a contest. I mean, that's the way it is most of the time. I would say within 4, you can stretch out and really go. You can be in Illinois in 4 hours. So you go a lot of places in 4 hours from here. Across the state of Arkansas, you can be, touching out there. People don't realize that.
So you guys, have you ever cooked MBN?
We've never cooked MBN. We've only judged it.
Would you ever want to cook MBN? I just always like to have other people's opinions on.
I would cook MBN right now with our setup. It would be a little much.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm going to be on a team this year at Memphis in May.
Well, that's
I
technically
got
not
invited.
MBN.
Whose team?
But
Sweeties.
Who?
Sweeties. Daryl. He's out of Louisiana, but he invited me 3 weeks, a month ago or so. He called me up and invited me on his team.
What division?
Ribs. Yeah, we'll be doing ribs, and I think I'm in for poultry and turkey smoke because I do okay at turkey smoke. I was 5th in the country last year, KCBS turkey smoke.
So what is your go-to turkey smoke dish?
Ooh, kind of switch it up. The one that I like the most is a puff pastry pot pie that I do,
good.
and it's I do it in a muffin pan, and it's buttery, it's smoked turkey with all the pot pie filling, and I leave it open, and then I kind of butterfly the outside, and you know how puff pastry does its thing. It's pretty cool looking.
Sounds really
but
good.
that's the one I like. Judges tend to like bacon wrapped turkey stuff, but I like the puff pastry.
Something a little bit different.
Yeah. When it hits, it really hits. But the bacon is more consistent. If you take turkey breast and season it, roll it in bacon and smoke it, it tends to be a little more consistent. But
Turkey's got to have that bacon, right?
it's got to have the bacon. You got to add some fat to it, and that's the thing with turkey. Like you have to add some fat to it.
Yeah.
And when I make that cream sauce for the pot pie, that typically protects it enough and keeps it juicy.
So what is your favorite category to cook? Out of all the different sanctioning bodies, do you have a favorite?
Chicken.
Thighs or legs?
Leg guy.
Sound like me now.
Leg guy.
So how many you cook? 16?
15 this weekend.
15.
But anywhere between 12 and 16, depending on how the packages are lined up.
And I have to ask, are you real precise about chicken legs? You trying to get them to a certain ounce weight, all of them?
There is a size that I eyeball. I've never been a weigh person. One of my buddies just sent me a text to ask me, hey, man, what's the weight of your, and I wrote him back yesterday, literally. No, man, when I trim them, I'm trimming for a look. There's a look that I'm going for and a size that I'm going for, and the weight doesn't really get you the shape that you're. They're different than thighs, in my opinion. So I cut them down to what I'm looking for as far as a size and a look, and then I run them from there.
I used to like 4.5 ounce.
4.5 ounce.
But when I used to buy chicken, everybody used to laugh at me. I would go get full cases, and I would sort it by weight, and then I would trim by weight. So 1 week I may cook 5 ounce, 1 week I may cook 4.5s, and 1 week I may cook 4s, 4.2s. I had them set like it. When you sort a whole case, instead of buying a few packs, and I'd trim out a case of chicken, and I've at least 4 to 5 contests trimmed at one time. Wow. Same way with briskets. I'd buy 5 to 6 briskets at a time. They'd all come in, still half frozen. I'd go ahead and trim every one of them, re-vacuum seal them, and freeze them, and then all I had to do was throw it in the cooler.
So let me ask you about the chicken, because some people live in that world where they will not freeze chicken. If you were trimming that far out, then you were vacuum sealing and freezing, and you were still doing okay with them. Then.
There's plenty of people that do that from week to week. The whole fresh thing about it not being frozen, I don't buy into it.
Okay.
You just got to cook it.
Right on.
And you got to cook it to tenderness. And you got it on chicken, you got to get bite through skin. It's just simple.
Right on.
I mean, but it ain't. You got a good vacuum sealer with the machines sucking it out, and a good chamber sealer and all that. It's not hurting anything. Especially if you're freezing it, flash freezing and stuff like that. I mean, you're not hurting it. Now, I've had friends that worked at chicken plants that I've hunted with over the years, and I will tell you there's a difference of chicken that they have been on the line and brought us the same day that it was processed. Yeah, that chicken's different.
Okay.
It is. But any of the chicken I've had at a store, I've worked in meat markets as a kid coming up and in my early 20s, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into it. I've cooked so much frozen pork and chicken over the years, and I would like to say I have a pretty good track record, knock on some wood.
Right on.
But, yeah, the frozen thing don't bother me at all.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So what you said chicken was your favorite category. What is y'all's favorite contest out of traveling so far? Because we always have them superb picks, and we base them on food and atmosphere and kind of what we can go in between, see, and stop and eat.
I'm going to see if we have the same one. So you go first, Colleen.
I got to go with Jiggy. Jiggy with the Piggy. It's the closest comp to home. It's right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in Kannapolis.
I hear
it's coming
awesome.
up next week. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful location, beautiful town, great event with the community involved.
It's a lot of teams there, right?
There are a lot of teams. I'd say
that's a turnaway event. Don't they turn teams away there?
Oh yeah, I mean they definitely have a wait list. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I mean, we competed first as a backyard team, and we ended up winning both days. So there's also, had a lot of we had some success, so that always helps.
I have those honey holes like that you want to go back to see if you can do it again.
See if you can do it again. So that's.
Yeah. Well, Eddie and those guys over there are great. Nothing against you guys, Eddie. I'm gonna go with BBQ. So far, BBQ is.
We were gonna cook it one time years ago, and then I think COVID canceled it. Maybe, or it was right after COVID. We didn't go. I don't remember, something happened where we didn't go. But I had turned in a check to go, I think, and then I got it back. But I hated we didn't. It's at the casino in Alabama.
Yes.
And they really, I hear the hospitality is really unreal. Just top notch.
Midnight snack. They drive around well, at midnight in a pickup truck with warm cookies, Heath. Like you're going to the DoubleTree, my friend. Oh, yeah. Warm cookies, energy drinks, sodas.
Wow.
They had so much stuff on the back of that truck. I was like, man, they're like, oh, you can get as much as you want. I was like, dude, don't tell me that. I'm on a diet. Like, just looking at all these cookies.
Yeah, 6-pack of Cokes and 8 cookies.
You're right. Yeah, it's like
milk.
Yeah, man. They did have milk.
I don't think I've seen that one before.
Me either.
They did have milk. And they had a buffet, late night buffet.
That's really cool.
It's just they roll out the carpet. The guy, when I get there, mind you, I have a 43-foot toy hauler. The guy's like, "Oh, did you want me to back it into your space for you?" I'm like, "No, sir, I got it." He goes, "No, we can do it. You want us to hook up the power and the water?" And I said, "No, I got it, man." I was like, is that guy joking me or what? And I watched them, and they were.
I think I'm gonna sign up to you now.
You're really making Heath want
to go over there.
Yeah, it's.
I need somebody with me to go cook though, because it's at a casino. I'm gonna be kind of busy.
Oh, God.
Well, if you get on I like to play cards.
You get on a heater,
and if I get on a heater, I don't want to get up. She knows it. It's one of those unspoken rules. I hate to say it. You don't walk away when it's going like
Gotta
that. I
get
know
it
when to
the
walk
getting's
away.
good, man. Yeah.
I have these methods. I know I'm getting off subject here. When we were in New Orleans earlier this year for a football game, we would get up real early, and I'd take a shower before her, and I was like, I'm going to the casino. Right across the street. So we're talking 6:30, 7 in the morning. Nobody's in there but the late night drunks and a few gangsters, rolling through their money. And so I go in, and every morning sit down and play cards. I get to $500-600, cash out, go back before she even got ready. I was back $500 or $600 every day.
There you go.
I mean,
that's a good plan right there.
It worked out.
So let me ask you a question. I know it's not my podcast, but are you a blackjack guy or are you a poker guy?
Blackjack.
Blackjack. All right.
Blackjack. I like playing poker. It's cool, but I also play baccarat.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a crap man too. I ain't scared to get on the crap table.
Okay.
But I'm not a slot guy.
Right on.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, but I like blackjack, and I don't go to play high limit or nothing, but I want at a table where I can at least play up to $25 if I want to. Right. 25 to 100. It just depends on I get a feeling. I go back between 25 and 100. You know what I mean? I go back. I'll build up. I'll start with $10, play with $10. And when I get to a certain level, a couple $100, I start playing $25 a hand. And then depending on when you're doubling down and whatnot, I mean, in some plays, I just feel it. I may bet 100, may bet 75, may bet 50. I go back and forth like that, and I'm steady wrecking. Then I may just go, if it changes dealers or the cards gets flush, I'm back to 25 till we get the cards right. I mean, it's got to flow right for me to feel it, yeah. And I really like playing with me and one other person at the table, and I want to be able to take the last card.
We used to have a jar here that every time his phone rang, he's supposed to throw $20 in it. He moved the jar, but $20 should be there.
My bad.
Well, what do you do with the money once
it disappeared? There was like $40 in it, and now it's just gone. That would have made at least 60.
Went to the blackjack table.
Yeah, probably. Probably in New Orleans.
I hadn't been to
I hadn't seen it since about then.
Yeah. So I've had superstitions at contests for years, certain things I do. So I got to ask, do y'all have any superstitions on Friday or Saturday, or like repeats that you do? So like there was only certain places I would go eat certain food on a Friday, or either like I'd wear certain shoes or certain shorts on a Saturday. I had a whole...
You were like Jordan.
I did. I had certain shoes that I would only wear on certain days, or certain underwear. I mean, it would. Certain pair of shorts I wore every Saturday. I did. When I got on rolls like that, I did.
So go ahead and tell them one of the ones we have, the main one we have.
The good luck kiss?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a must do. We've got before turn-ins, each turn-in, each protein, there's a good luck kiss. So there are times when I've walked out of the door and he's come out chasing after me, or I've turned around and gone back. And yeah, we got to do the good luck kiss. When we were in, was it Butler last year?
Butler, Missouri, yeah.
We would go outside, we'd take the picture, we'd do the good luck kiss, and I'd walk it up. And right after all the turn-ins, one of the girls who was at the table, she's like, you guys were so cute. Like with your little routine, you take the picture and do the kiss. And yeah, it worked.
I'm glad that works for me, because she stabbed me during turn-in. Sometimes. I mean, remember that one time at South Haven?
I think we've talked about it a few
Several
times.
times on the podcast.
Yeah.
I had a fat vein down the middle of a brisket, and I kept cutting it. It kept breaking in the middle. And I just finally cut them all and said, I ain't turning this brisket in. I walked out of the trailer.
You just walked out, shut the door, left me in there by myself.
I ain't doing this.
Like, we can't just
I turned in three
it in.
stellar categories.
Wow.
Well, she come out of the box about 10 minutes later and told me to get my you-know-what out of the way. She went and turned in the brisket, and it was a perfect 180.
Wow.
You never know. I didn't cook it.
And we won.
Hey, and that's why we have them, brother.
And I 180'd rib that day, too. It was a rib and brisket, because the contest before that, I 180'd chicken and pork. It was 2 weekends, and 4 180s. I remember that.
Wow.
So in 4 different categories.
Look at that. If you didn't have your wife with you, where would you have been?
That's right.
You wouldn't have turned it in.
I wouldn't have turned it in that day if she wouldn't have turned it in.
Oh,
Man.
And that's one of the first times you ever built a box, ain't it? One of the few.
Yeah. I mean, I helped with them, but I never actually. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've done some now by myself, but not a lot still.
Yeah. And that's really
but that's one of the easiest ones too, in my opinion.
Yeah, but still, you had his back. You know, even when he didn't want you to have it, you had his back, and that's what matters.
So no other superstitions besides a good luck kiss? Do y'all have like a favorite? I guess what I'm asking, like a ritual of like, we would always go eat like cold sandwiches like Lenny's or Jimmy John's.
After the contest.
That was after the contest on a Saturday.
That's because you're hot and you don't want
like
to eat any of
But
that.
we always ate Mexican food sometimes on Fridays. You know, I got into that for a while. Just traditions like that.
I don't think we have any of those traditions. I will say that it seems like everyone on the circuit likes to eat Mexican, so we don't go out and eat Mexican unless we're at a barbecue competition because we know we're going to get it at the barbecue competition. That's probably the only superstition I'd say is that one. Although I always say I do know when I'm at a barbecue competition because as soon as we get set up, my wife does this like cleaning ritual that she does, and in my head, the smell of that lemon, whatever stuff that she's using that she cleans with when we first get to a comp and the slides come out, it reminds me of being at a barbecue competition. So when I walk in, if I don't smell that, then I'll probably think something's wrong, like we're not going to do well or something. I don't know, but that's not a tradition.
But
that's
barbecue
just
sauce gets everywhere.
Right.
It does over the wall. Injection up the walls. Does that happen?
Oh, never. Of course, it's everywhere, man.
I mean, you can't help it sometimes. When at least me, I sling stuff. Sauce winds up on things that I'm like, how did sauce get over here? Why did it get on this wall? And I'm not even working on that wall. But I get it.
We've been collecting things said at a barbecue competition, and it's basically kind of a running joke between Colleen and I, just like things that we've heard people say. So one of the funniest things we've ever heard someone say, Lynn from Rooters and Tutors, shout out to Rooters and Tutors, she once said, barbecue sauce gonna be everywhere. That's my Lynn impersonation. She's like, barbecue sauce gonna be everywhere. JP, you can find barbecue sauce in your shower. You just haven't looked. Hey, and she is right. I have now seen barbecue sauce in our shower, so it goes everywhere.
It's $40.
Yeah. I called it before it rung all the way down.
Y'all call his phone some more. We'll get more.
Can't help it. So what was I only got a few more competition questions for you. What was the biggest challenge converting from backyard barbecue at a KCBS contest over to the pro division, and how have you overcome those obstacles so far?
That is easy. There's two things that I have at the top of that list. One, sleep. I had extra sleep when I didn't have 4 meats every week. That's the number one. And number two was brisket. Learning it, understanding it, figuring out which one I was going to cook. I've cooked Marble Ridge. I started out, I said, I'm going to cook 5 of everything. I cooked 5 Marble Ridge. I cooked 5 A9s from Kevin and them down at the butcher shop. And then I cooked 5 Imperials from Mr. Brisket up there in Ohio. And I was getting ready to cook snakes, and I ran out of briskets for my last comp. It was a double, and I had 1 Imperial, so I called down to Kevin and just had him ship me really quick because I knew I could get it quickest through him. And I cooked the best brisket I ever cooked in my life in Virginia last weekend. So, yeah, I drove from Hernando Point on Monday down to Pensacola, picked up 6, and drove back up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I knew you was going to Pensacola on Monday.
Could have picked you up some
I'd have told you to
brisket.
bring me a few things back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so y'all been in Hernando Point all week?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I sure wish I knew you'd run to Pensacola. For sure.
You probably could have still shipped them and got them here.
Yeah, he could have shipped him and got him here.
You probably just wanted something to do, though.
No, I didn't know where I was going to send them, right? Because I'm at the campground. Well, I didn't want to bother you guys. Like, at the campground, you
Anything
can't
like
get
that.
mail,
I mean, you should, anything
ice
like
cream
that.
down
I
there got
mean,
'em, but it all worked out.
We do stuff for people all the time that come through town. Yeah, I don't publicize it, but people leave trailers at my shop and all that kind of stuff for a week at a time sometimes. You know, there's no sense in backhauling a trailer 800 miles to come back 800 miles. Right. And I've had Travis Clark, and I think Rod left some stuff one time. Rod Gray's been over this way. It's been years ago when everybody was, running hard. Back forth to Georgia to Kansas and Oklahoma. It seemed like near the end of the year when those things kind of happen. Everybody chasing points. But yeah, a lot of people's left equipment and stuff like that. It's kind of funny you say something about a brisket though, because somebody called me looking for a brisket. Texting me on Monday is the reason I say that. I'm like, I don't think I have one. I think I'm out.
We haven't cooked a.
I cooked 2 brisket videos and used the 2 Wagyu ones I had.
Yeah, I was just thinking about contest wise. Haven't cooked a KCBS in a while.
It's been a minute. I got an itch. I want to go cook one coming up. And I've talked about putting together a team and just going and maybe me cooking ribs and somebody else cooking the brisket and somebody else cooking the chicken and just to go have some fun. Right. Kind of like what Darren Worth and Jeff and several of them have done, done that Teddy Camp thing and they wind up winning and getting a draw of the jack, like that. And, just things like that. Just something for a challenge. I don't know. So
yeah, I'm starting to think Darren just likes a challenge now. He came down to Florida. We were cooking Haines City. I think it was Haines City, and he cooked on one drum. He cooked on one drum. He got like 5th overall on one drum.
Well, Drew Davis for Razorbacks won a contest with one drum.
That's what I heard.
I mean, and I mean it's still all about timing.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, it's easy to say, hard to do. That's all. It's easy to say, hard to do.
That is a challenge.
Kudos to those guys.
I'm gonna be. I wonder if I could do. That's almost. I don't know. I almost want to do it just to see if I can do it. One can. I almost, and I'm guessing he probably cooked 3 pork collars, 1 brisket to begin with on the drum, and those were off, holding. And then you throw 2 to 3 racks of ribs on, and those are off by the time chicken goes on. So he's holding them in a camber. I could see where it would all work, but me, I at least want 2 drums probably. But
you could do it with 2. Well, I'm gonna say I could do it with 2.
One
tight.
I mean, apparently it can be done.
Oh, it can definitely be done.
It can. I think other people's done it on smaller grills than a drum before. I want to say
Probably.
It's been. Yeah. That's yeah.
Well, kudos to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are y'all's goals for the rest of the year, 2024? How many contests are you going to cook and compete in?
Well, I'm going to turn to my booking agent. So let her answer that one.
Looks like we're in the 30 to 40 comp range for this year.
So y'all really jumped in head first.
Oh, we sure did, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I used to average that.
But so home cooks, it's not the same as being at a competition. So just got to, get out there. The more we're competing, the more consistent we get.
That's true.
And we love traveling, right? So last year we spent some time in the Midwest. We were on the East Coast. Then we went down to Texas. We went over to Florida. This year we're going to get out to Nevada and California, meet some of those West Coast teams. So we just love getting to know the teams across the country and have met so many great people. So, we say we're going to take 2 or 3 weeks off, and then all of a sudden someone tells us about a comp. And if the weekend's open, we find ourselves signing up and driving.
We get an organizer to inbox us and say,
he's not afraid to drive, and I love a good road trip. So
y'all are basically, you're working from the RV, right?
Yep.
And so you're just traveling, and you're able to go to barbecues way off and stay gone at copious amounts of time.
Yes.
Yep. So it ain't like you're reporting to an office every day, which is kind of cool.
We're not answering to anyone.
That is pretty awesome. So nothing wrong with that. So being able to live that lifestyle, though, and see different parts of the country and things has got to be awesome.
It's awesome.
I'm sure it does, especially going all out west and the East Coast and down.
I'm living my dream.
So what is the furthest that
living my
you've
dream.
traveled for a competition to this point?
What was the furthest? Texas. It's gotta be Texas.
Yeah, it's got to be Texas.
Wow.
But you said you're going to California.
But now it's going to be
But now it's
June.
going to be California
Yeah,
in June.
Yeah.
Going out there. Then we're going to hot tail it all the way back across the country and cook DC.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're going from the West Coast to the East Coast.
I've always wanted to cook the DC contest, but the
Yeah.
logistical part of that just scares me to death. And I don't have it in me anymore.
Isn't that the one where you can't load
in
in
at midnight and
until
all that.
crazy
Yeah.
time?
You got to stay there so many days, and you do different categories on both days. And back in the day, it used to be a big Memphis style barbecue event before it changed to KCBS, all the pork championships and all that. Right. And that was the one event that got you grandfathered into places and all that too. So it's still pretty cool.
Well, fun fact about the DC comp, we met living in DC, and it was the first date we went on after we started dating. So
officially,
and we've judged it before. So this is like going back to
Well, you got to go back.
back to home, and yeah.
So I have to ask: have you heard of the contest in Murfreesboro, Illinois? Praise the Lord.
We haven't just heard of it.
I was gonna say everybody's heard of it.
We were at getting our Team of the Year awards. We were at KCBS and they honored Mr. May, and he was the first inductee to the KCBS Hall of Fame inaugural class. So we got to meet his daughter, and we told her we saw the apples from last year and heard about the competition, and we're going to do everything in our power to get there.
That's great.
I think there's a scheduling issue this year, but we're going to look at it again because
I can't
told
be
her
there
we're
this
coming,
year either.
so.
This will be the second year I've missed it out of 11 years. And no, 10 years.
Oh, I know what it is this year.
And we're going to Canada this year. We have to be in Canada for the wedding. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was my very first grand.
That's his
Was
favorite.
Murfreesboro, Illinois,
Wow.
that I won
That's
in
a
20.
big
Well,
one.
I cooked with other teams and we won grands, but I don't count them.
Right.
I only count from that in 2016 when we won that very first contest there. And so from then on, I think I've won 76. But I'd quit, back. We got on hot streaks where I was winning 12, 13 events a year. I mean,
I can't wait to get there.
it was pretty wild. I mean, and it was, like you said, it was all about being consistent. I had like superstitions, like my meat didn't come out of a cooler to a certain time on Friday. I had to have certain goals set for myself.
I don't think that was a superstition, though. I think that was just like
I had a
being
strict
on
regimen.
a schedule.
Yeah, I had a strict
and that's
regimen,
what
you know.
worked. Like that's.
I didn't fire up the grill to a certain time, didn't light a match in it. I mean, I had like I went strictly by a timeline I set for myself. And I was just real
organized.
consistent with it, like trimming the chicken legs down, the ribs. I mean, I could tell you what something was going to be before I could look at the time and go, it's going to be 164 degrees right now. It'll be within a couple degrees of it. And somebody raised the lid and broke it. It's 162. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
You were dialed
I used
in
to track weather and all that stuff. I don't do any of that anymore. I just go have a good time now when I go cook. If I get a call, I get a call, but that's not what I'm there for. I'm just out there having a good time now. That's
Right
it.
on.
Well, I have to ask: do you still want to eat barbecue?
No.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I expect, but I just have to ask.
Yeah. No.
And okay, so you don't want to eat barbecue, but when you travel and they have like famous or what you hear is great barbecue, do you feel like you at least have to go try it? And do you ever?
So, Shane last night told me about a place called
Pains.
Payne's
Oh,
that
yeah,
he was
yeah.
going to this morning, but unfortunately I had to clean chicken and
Did he go there?
ribs.
No, he didn't go. They were going to go there for lunch. He was thinking about it.
That's what we were going to go.
I've
there at
actually
like
never been there, but
11:30, but
I hear it's great.
I will definitely go there because he wouldn't shut up about this sandwich last night.
Go there tomorrow at
They went.
lunch.
And I've
Go
gotta
straight
go
up tomorrow and go. It's not far from where you're at. You'll probably be there in 15, 18 minutes. But go and just grab a sandwich. I mean, in and out. Go when they open at 11 tomorrow.
That's what he
Get your
said. You got to be there when they open. So he
Yep.
was like, "We're gonna go at 10:30."
It's old school chopped barbecue with a mustard slaw and a really thin vinegar sauce. I mean, it is classic as it gets, this place.
They all went back in December.
Yes.
A bunch of people were in town for our big party we have, and all the guys went there Saturday morning, I guess, and they've all talked about it ever since. I've never
It's my
been
third
there.
time to go there to eat a chopped sandwich. And I enjoy ribs at Cozy Corner, which is another
That's what he told
classic place. They have Cornish hens and all that.
He talked about all of it last night. And he goes, and then we can go to Cozy Corner because you ain't never had ribs like these. And I'm like,
They're
man.
old school. She has a glass rotisserie inside. You know, they used to do Cornish hens in. Yes, had a glass. You could see them turning on the rotisserie. It was old school. And Famous Dave had these glass pits one time. I don't know who made them, but I know Famous Dave used them at one time too. They used to hang ribs in them. He was one of the first ones to hang ribs in a pit and smoke them. Y'all may not know that. That was back in the early 80s. Wow. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I used to eat Famous Dave's all the time. And I learned to cook them, and I was like, man, mine are better than his.
Well, restaurant barbecue to that, but what about no Texas barbecue when you went? No
Yeah,
Texas
you haven't
places?
been to any of those places?
So I lived in Central Texas for a while, and I'd had a bunch of the different places, but I haven't had Aaron's. I haven't been down to Franklin's, and we're going back to Texas. And
I'd like to go there.
yeah,
You go to
Sure, yeah, there are a
Valentina's.
few down
Valentina's.
there. Yeah.
In Austin.
Blacks. There's a few that you really need to go. There is a
Yeah.
difference. Well, they don't even serve barbecue sauce like at Kreitz Market. You know, you can get hot sauce, but it's all on butcher paper. You tell them what you want, and they pile it on butcher paper and bring it up, pile it over here, and you go in another room and tell you sides. You may get some pickles and some sliced cheese to go with it, and how many pieces of bread you want, or how you want a sleeve of crackers with it. It's just that simple. There's nothing, salt and pepper. I mean, it's old school as it gets, which is kind of cool to me. That kind of
same thing I tell people when they come to Carolina. If you're going to come and get Carolina, it's not going to be what you think. It's going to be very simple, chopped barbecue, you know, vinegar based over there where we are in Eastern Carolina. You get out there toward Lexington, you know, you're going to get a certain style, and it's Carolina barbecue, but it's going to be really simple, really plain, white bread, barbecue, chopped.
Well, he always goes to Texas, and Texas does have great barbecue, but I always say if you go to Arizona, you got to go to Little Miss Barbecue. If y'all are traveling out that way, coming up, Arizona, Little Miss Barbecue. And
how far outside of like the Phoenix area is it?
They have 2 locations.
Yes, right there.
Right in there.
Okay.
I don't know which is close, but I know they at least have 2, if not
It's
more.
not far
locations.
from Barbecue Island out there, so it's
Okay. Well, our youngest lives out there. That's why.
Okay.
Like in Phoenix. So.
Yeah. There should be one fairly close then.
yeah. He does
Right in
smoke
that area.
pecan pies.
I think it is.
Ooh,
Mini-
that sounds like something.
I don't even eat pecan pie, like,
unreal.
but I would eat that right now, like any day. I could get that pie from there. I would eat
good.
it because I liked it that much, and I'm not even a pecan pie person.
Yeah,
And then Oklahoma, if you ever get to Travis's Clark Crew, it's
Travis
really good
Clark's
too.
restaurant is a must go.
In
Okay.
Oklahoma, if you're
Got
passing
to have
through
the
there,
fried pickles when you're there.
Oh
too.
yeah, we
They're so
we were
good.
just out there last summer, and
they have good barbecue.
I've seen a few. I've seen 2 different locations out there in Oklahoma, so I know he has at least 2 locations.
Yeah, he does.
He does. I don't remember which.
He just
location
opened his
it was,
second one, but yeah.
it is solid barbecue too.
And
Right on.
I figured you said something about fried pickles like me.
Well, yeah, I mean they are. I'm a big fried pickle person, which I know we're talking about barbecue. His barbecue was good too, though.
Are they better than Hooters?
Hooters.
Yeah, fried pickles. Yeah.
Hooters fried pickles are the best I've ever had.
They're
you
thin though. They're thin, right?
They are
the
thin.
No.
So he does thick
They're
chips.
chips.
And soaks them in beer first.
They're so
and
good.
then mustard and then batter.
Never had any like them.
And yeah, it's
That sounds like something.
it's a really good fried pickle.
It really is.
Okay.
Yes, really good. It's surprisingly really good.
Yeah.
He had a lot of dishes that were really
They
good.
had I mean, we tried a whole lot of things there, but
Yeah, he wasn't there, but I texted him, and then it wasn't 10 minutes, and I didn't ask him to send anything out, but they sent a platter of food out after we had ordered.
so we got what we ordered plus what he sent.
Yeah, and so
it was
he
just
sent
us.
he sent a platter out, and it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this?
It was all very good though.
Yeah, and I severely overate trying to sample everything.
And I'll be honest, I don't remember everything from Little Miss Barbecue, but I do remember the brisket.
The beef rib was really good.
Oh, and I do remember that. But as far as pork wise, I don't.
About $100
that
plate, I remember that.
Doesn't mean anything bad. I just
Everything's by the pound, so you buying brisket, you buying rib. I think we tried a little bit of everything, turkey, everything.
you gotta
I tried
try
every
everything.
protein.
Right on.
You know, everything we could. Well, talking about some of y'all's accomplishments last year, you were 5th overall, like you said, in the Turkey Smoke Series in the backyard, and you were backyard series team of the year, and y'all moved up. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
And another thing, thank you for being part of our sponsored team program and
Thank
believing in our
you.
products.
Really, thank you so much.
Oh, well, I'm here to
Because-
say thank you to you because, you know, if you weren't out there using them and believing in them, you know, stuff like that, you wouldn't be using them, right? So,
And we use them in our home cooking, everything. I mean, garlic jalapeno, I think, goes in just about every dish we make.
I'm either that or simple citrus. It seems
Oh,
like
that's a good
I
one,
use the
too.
citrus a lot. She's an everyday rub person on everything.
it depends what I'm eating. I like the pecan rub is one of my favorites too, though. I
As
like
far as
it.
barbecue
a lot.
goes, yeah.
I'm a big pecan fan.
On salmon.
Yeah, on fish.
Ooh.
If
Yeah.
you
I
hadn't
haven't
tried
tried
that-
that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like my
fish,
all-time
wow.
favorite, you know, I don't know if it's still a thing, but like the infused olive oil places that you
Yep.
can go to. So they had like a chipotle olive oil that's kind of spicy, but not overly spicy. So I would like rub the fish with that and then do pecan on top of it, and it was just like the perfect balance. It's my favorite.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'd use honey chipotle or honey rub on top of that. But yeah.
That sounds good. Really,
It's really good. I mean, she liked it caked on hers. She wanted a heavy pecan flavor, not a light dusting, and it turns out real good.
Right on.
Really unique taste for sure. Well, I just want to say, is there any thank you for using our products, like I said, and where can people find y'all at? What is y'all social channels, things like that? You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yes, really quick. Thank you seriously for taking a chance on a little kid from Southern Maryland who hadn't been cooking barbecue very long, giving us a shot. Introducing us to your great rubs and sauces was so pleasing. I wouldn't have been there without you guys. I wouldn't have been there without good charcoal. I wouldn't have been there without my mentor, Chris, who used to not like me to talk about him, but I'm going to tell you, man, this guy is dialed in. His team name is Taste of Grace, and without Chris, I wouldn't have been anywhere. When I get worried and concerned with making changes and all that stuff, I call, hey, man, look, I just did such and such, and he would, hey, man, it's just barbecue. Chill out. Here's what we got. All right, do this, do that. Did you do this? Okay, well, sounds like you're going a good way. And he gives me structured criticism. I send him pictures. He's like, this is off, that's off. He'd mark it up, send it back to me. And that's how I became the perfectionist in barbecue that I am now, because I enjoy winning. I'm dedicated to something. I try to put in my work, and I've kind of gone around and collected mentors, and he was the number one mentor that I got. And then, my buddy Mike Starr, Blaze Starr.
Mike's a good guy. I was with him in North Dakota.
Great guy, Mike is. He's my mentor when it comes to social media. Just, you got to stay at it. And Mike gives me great advice with sticking with social media and get to going. But there's just so many people to thank for helping us get here to where we are. And we're just going to continue to, hopefully everyone continues to ride out with us, because we're going to continue to make some noise this year and many more years to come.
I think y'all will. And, I'm excited for y'all getting to travel across the country and cook barbecue and all that. I mean, I've been there once, but I would like to do it, like how y'all are doing it, and not have to stress and just move from one town to the next and take your time and go set up. But unfortunately, I can't do that right now. But that does sound fun. I mean, we used to run and gun too much. The only other thing I got left, I just want to thank you for your military service. I appreciate that so much.
You're welcome.
Because people like you, we wouldn't be here to even have this little podcast that we have today to talk. So thank you for that, and I appreciate y'all for coming on the show and talking about your experiences in barbecue and telling everybody who you are. And
well, they would, but no one would let me live it down if I didn't give you one barbecue. I don't know. You've never heard me yell, but I've got a barbecue squeal that I'm known for all over the circuit.
Well, go for it.
So I'm gonna give it to you.
Give it to him.
Barbecue!
Oh! You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. We're Shootin The Que, baby, every week. We'll see y'all next week with another show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shootin The Que podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels or through our website. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review if you enjoyed the show. Until next time, keep shooting the Que.